The time is 6 minutes past 8. This is Conversations on Energy FM 102.1 and Choice FM 101.1. It was Nick Hayes who said, quote unquote, "You only have so many hours in a day. Let others make the money for you." Author of motivational books and life coach Ebenezer Mamabolo is back after we couldn't talk to him last week, and he joins me now in studio to sum up the series on monetizing on your purpose. As always, we appreciate hearing from you. You're more than welcome to join us in this conversation. Our WhatsApp text line is 079-295-1212, 079-295-1212, and our SMS line is 47861, 47861. Start each SMS with the short code EFM, and each SMS is charged at R1.50. Mr. Mamabolo, good evening and welcome back.
Good evening and thank you for having me.
I hope you don't feel like I'm making a mountain out of a molehill here. Because everyone is allowed to rest every once in a while. But yes. I'm just saying, we need to acknowledge that when one of us is not here, it can't be the same, obviously. Yes. And when you come back, we just need to just make sure that you know that we felt your absence.
That's really appreciated from my side.
All right, we've had this series for a few weeks now.
Yes.
And what I immediately think is that everyone sort of has an idea of what their purpose is or what to do to establish what their purpose is and so forth, right?
Yes.
But now, what should everyone then know about what their purpose is intended to do exactly?
You know, as we've been talking throughout this series, we spoke about the fact that you and I need to be able to get to a point where we can monetize our purpose. When we are monetizing our purpose, we get to a point where we can do whatever it is that we like to do. We can spend the time we need to spend with our family and our loved ones, because the purpose that we are saving or the purpose that we've been given to fulfill, it's helping us, it's feeding our family. Now, as we conclude this series, I would like to remind the listeners about the quote we shared last time. We said that the amount of money that you will be getting or that you will be generating from you making and saving your purpose will be in relation to the need or the demand for what you do. Number two, your ability to be able to do it. And number three, the difficulty in replacing you. Now, in other words, if whatever it is that you are saying that you want to monetize, if there is no need for that particular thing in the marketplace, then you won't be getting any money. And if you don't have the ability or you haven't invested some time in you developing your craft, in you developing your purpose, then you won't be getting an income from it. And the last one, if you are too easy to replace or you are so mediocre that we can just take some out of the streets and replace you instead of them, then it means that your purpose won't be monetized to its full potential. So these are the things that we need to take into account as we are looking into the principles or the things that we'll be sharing tonight that will help us to be able to monetize our purpose effectively.
Earlier on the show, I spoke to one Mr. Hector Modao, who was in conversation with me as we were reflecting on the life of the legendary broadcaster Bob Mabena, who has unfortunately passed on.
Yes.
And as we were communicating, then Mr. Hector says that, Bob was in the media industry for the longest of times, and he knew how to reinvent his brand and stay relevant. And now you mention issues of the importance of knowing what your purpose is and being able to work on the demand that is there for your purpose.
Yes.
I wonder if it could be that it's also tricky for individuals to know how to establish a demand for their purpose, because I'm sure everyone knows what they're passionate about.
Yes.
Everyone knows what they do really well, effortlessly.
Yes.
But this establishment of a demand for that which you do so well, so that you're able to then monetize on it, is it easy?
It's not easy. It's easier said than done, because when you are looking into all of the industries that are available right now, you'll find that there is someone who's in that particular industry, someone perhaps who's well known in that particular industry. Now, what you need to do is that when we get into things like branding, that's where you learn about how do you make a niche out of that particular area of gifting that you've got, or how do you create a niche in that area of your purpose. So as much as it might not be easy for you to identify that, no, in this area, say for example, we are talking about a radio broadcasting and you are Rebecca, if maybe it's not easy for you to be able to identify that, no, this is an area that I will be able to monetize, or I will be the number one person to go to. Go to someone who's the leading expert in that particular field. Serve under them. They will teach you whatever it is that you need to learn. They will mentor you, and while they are mentoring you, you will be able to realize that, oh, these are the loopholes, or these are the areas that are missing in this area for me to be able to become the leading expert. Now, when you discover those areas or those missing links, then you can start working on those areas to say that, no, as I'm busy sharpening my gift, as I'm busy developing myself as a presenter, then I need to be able to take care of this industry, because I know that there are loopholes in this particular field. Then when you've discovered those loopholes and you are developing your gift and you're developing your purpose in terms of those, now when that need comes and when they say that, no, we need someone who masters this in broadcasting, then you know that you will be the person who will be fit to be able to occupy that particular space.
And I would imagine it can't be easy to say that you're working towards really honing your skills to an extent that you're not replaceable.
Yes.
Because we have a diversity of skills, and perhaps that's a reality that one also needs to really make peace with as they work towards really honing their skills and perfecting their craft. Let's talk about areas that one can monetize on.
Coming back to the issue of last week, one thing, when I started my exercising, I got back on my bicycle, and it was just a casual thing. And as I was cycling on my bicycle, I realized that, no, for me to be able to do this in the highest level of performance, I need to do 1, 2, 3, 5. I needed to buy these types of equipment. I needed to be able to practice and to be able to cycle at this particular speed. Now, while I was doing that, I realized that, no, the level of preparation that I'm using, or the level of investment that I'm using to be able to become a cyclist, to be able to do this lovingly for exercise purposes, I realized that, no, it's almost the same as a professional. Now, when I realized that, no, it's almost the same as a professional, then I said, no, let me no more do this casually, but let me do this professionally. Let me not only prepare myself just for exercise purposes, but to be able to do this professionally. So I got into the fact that, no, I need to take my craft, I need to take my exercise, not just casually or not just for fun, but to be able to do it professionally. Now, in the same way, whatever area of purpose that you've discovered that you are going to fulfill that particular area, sometimes you might find that maybe you thought that the area of purpose that you are doing it for fun, and you realize, no, I'm doing this for fun, but if I can just take up my skills, if I can work on my skills a little bit longer, I could then take it out of fun and make it a professional. Now, what I learned was that, no, because I was doing this, the investment that I was investing into my particular cycling, and I said, no, I'm just 1 or 2 things short, and I started to prepare professionally. So when we get out of the lockdown, I will be able to compete provincially and probably even internationally when we are cycling. Now, it's because I was cycling and preparing myself, increasing my speed and all those things, that I had a crash. And when I crashed, that's why I was not able to come last week. Why? Because I was working on my purpose. Yes, it's an area that I thought that it would just be a hobby. But when I realized the potential it is that, no, this hobby of mine, I can turn it from not just being a hobby, not being just something I love doing, but I can love doing it and I can even generate an income from it. Now, when you realize that, no, you are serving your particular purpose, maybe you started out as you are serving your purpose, maybe you were doing it for fun, or you love doing it for the sake of doing it. But when you are busy working on it, while you are busy developing your craft, you realize that, no, you could actually become a professional. Now, when you are becoming a professional, it means that you are taking your gift, you are taking your purpose, you are taking your hobby to a higher level. Now, when you are doing that, realize that there are some few areas that you can monetize. And one example would be gaming. There are people who play games who would spend hours and hours on their phones playing their games or on their PlayStations. But it's only a few who are professional gamers. Now, while you are playing your games for free and you're enjoying, what are some of the extra things that you could do to turn that hobby of yours into a professional thing? Now, it's also something that I also realized while I was playing another game of mine that I loved very much. I realized that, no, it's not even an issue for me to become a professional gamer in this particular field. Then I started playing it professionally. Now, when you check the rankings, I am a legendary player in this particular game that I'm playing. Now, you realize that, no, it's just one level above that I will be able to monetize my gaming. So whatever hobby you are doing, it's possible for you to monetize it. Now, you might be playing sport, you are doing it for the love of playing sport. But when you look deep into that particular area of your hobby, you realize that, no, there are people who are getting a living, who are making a living from playing sports, whether it's soccer players, tennis players, whatever it is that they are doing. Find out what is it, what extra thing things can you do to take your hobby and make it a professional thing? Another one would be entertainment. There are people who like making jokes maybe on social media. They make us laugh. They record these funny videos. But you guys know there are people who are earning a living out of being comedians, who are earning a living out of being entertainers. Now, don't just look at your gift casually and say that, no, I'm just doing it for fun. What are the extra things that you could do as an entertainer to be able to monetize that particular entertainment that you are doing? Another area would be social media. All of us go on social media, we go and post, but there is a select group of people who, when they are posting a particular post on social media, there is a company that gives them a large sums of money for them to be able to be on social media. Now, what are the things that you could do? You might be doing social media as a hobby, but there are some extra things that you could do to be able to monetize you going on social media and you using that data of yours. Another one would be even farming and agriculture. Sometimes we tend to make vegetables at home just for me to be able to eat. But when you realize that no, there are people who are farming and they are producing in mass production. They are producing for the shops. They are producing for companies. You realize that no, what are some of the extra things that I need to do as a farmer? Yes, I might be doing this out of love. Yes, I might be doing this because it's a hobby. I love farming, or I love working in my garden. But what are the extra things that you could do to be able to monetize that particular hobby of yours? Another one would be even health. You know, all of us, we want to have better health. As we are looking into the way things are changing, most of us, we are conscious of our health. Now, you might be someone just like a friend of mine who started just exercising. She does not know, when I'm exercising, I love doing this, but I can also help others to be able to do this. You know, most of us, we go out in the morning for exercise, we run, but it's only a few people who are professional runners, who are doing their exercising professionally, and they are earning a living out of it. So make sure, what are the extra things that you could do as you are exercising? You've already built the stamina. You know how far you can run for how long. Now, what are some of the things that you can do to take that and make it a professional thing? Another one would even be education. Now, as we are getting into this era where we are taking things online, people need to learn online. What can you do as a teacher, or what can you do as an educator to take this gift of yours that you might love doing? You might even not want to be charging someone for it because you love doing it. But what are some of the extra things that you could be doing to take this gift of yours and take it professional, so that you'll be able to earn an income, not just locally, but internationally? Another one, even business. You can take the business that you are doing out of love. Maybe you are running a non-profit organization, and it's running effectively. The money, it's well spent. You are running it professionally. You can even take this. What are some of the extra things that you could do as you are enjoying that saving of you doing your non-profit? What are the extra things that you could do to be able to even earn a living? And the last one would even be the issue of spirituality. You know, a lot of us, you know, when spirituality comes into the picture, we tend to shy away and say that no, it's something that I'm not going to make money. And I remember when I was talking to one client of mine that I was coaching, and he talks to me and he says that, you know what, I've got this gift of healing, and I'm afraid of monetizing it. And I showed him, do you see that lady? That lady is a healer, and she has monetized her purpose. People are going to her seeking healing. They are going to her consulting and seeking for healing, and she charges them a sum of money for her to be able to help them with healing. Now, whatever area it is that you are doing, irrespective of the field that you are in, there is someone who is earning a living out of it. What you need to do is that find out what are those extra things that you could do to take your hobby from it being a hobby, for you to be able to do it professionally, and for you to be able to earn an income in doing that thing.
Some people of late are saying that spirituality is like a trend. Because I would imagine they're citing issues of how, because a lot of people for some time didn't know themselves and the gifts, and they chose not to embrace the gifts, particularly gifts that are in the spiritual realm. I'm hoping that we'll talk a bit, quite at length, I think. Let's rather do it at length.
Okay.
About managing finances as one monetizes on their purpose, and particularly of interest for me in a huge manner is the issue of spirituality.
Okay.
Because I would imagine that sometimes one could say, I don't want to be accused of overcharging people,
yes,
people of God, if they want to call it that.
Yes.
How do you maneuver around that?
Okay.
I'm in conversation with motivational books author and life coach Ebenezer Mamabolo as we talk about monetizing your purpose. This is a part 4 of the series that we started a few weeks back. You can join us in this conversation. Our WhatsApp text line is 079-295-1212, 079-295-1212. Our SMS line is 47861, 47861. Start each SMS with the short code EFM, and each SMS is charged at R1.50. We continue with this conversation after the break, and you can give us a call.
Have your say. Call us now on 015-151-1058.
The time is 22 minutes past 8. This is Conversations on Energy FM 102.1 and Choice FM 101.1. I am in conversation with author of motivational books and life coach Ebenezer Mamabolo as we're talking about monetizing on your purpose. You can join us in this conversation. Our WhatsApp text line is 079-295-1212, and our SMS line is 47861, 47861. Start each SMS with the short code EFM, and each SMS is charged at R1.50. The idea of being able to generate money out of your quote-unquote hobby is enticing.
Yes.
And you hear a lot of people always say financial freedom, financial independence, financial education, because we generally are said to be struggling with managing our finances as a people. Let's tap into that.
You know, as you will be charging for you to serve your purpose, there are some key things that you need to look into that will help you to keep on keeping the money that you are making. Number one, understand what we call fundamental analysis. Fundamental analysis is where you want to understand that what are the basics for me to be able to fulfill or to be able to serve my purpose. Number one, get to understand that if this is the amount of money that I'm charging, now what's the income that I'll be making? Find out what's the income that you would be generating from you saving your purpose. Another one, what are the expenses that enable you to be able to do your purpose? If you are going to be doing whatever it is that you are doing when you are saving your purpose, understand now what are the expenses that go into me fulfilling this particular area of gifting? What are the expenses that go into me able to do whatever it is that I'm doing? Another one, understand that your cash flow. What's the cash flow that's involved with me saving my purpose? Understand cash flow. It's income minus expenses. The income that I'm getting minus the expenses that I'm using for me to be able to fulfill my purpose. Another one, understand what are the assets that are involved in me fulfilling or saving my purpose. Now, when you understand those assets, also understand what are the liabilities. What are those things that take out the money that I'm making while I'm generating my income. And the last one will be the equity or the net worth. What's the net worth that I've got? Now, when you get to a point where your assets or your income is greater than your expenses that you are fulfilling or the expenses that you are using for you to be able to fulfill and serve your purpose, that's when you achieve financial freedom. That's when you know that the money that I am making saving my purpose versus the money that I'm taking out while I'm saving this particular purpose of mine, while I'm preparing, while I'm working on my gift, while I'm making sure that I'm irreplaceable in the marketplace, then you know that I have achieved financial. You get to a point where you know that even if I don't work, or sometimes if I take some breaks or I take days off, then I know that the systems that I've built around my purpose, they will be able to make money for me. Another area that you need to take into account will be technical analysis. Now, when you talk about technical analysis, those who are trading forex, they know very well about technical analysis because you are looking at the chart. You are looking at the patterns. Now, while you are saving your purpose, watch out what are the patterns or what are the trends in this area of mine. If you are in business, what are the trends in business that I could be able to take advantage of? What are some of the things that I could be looking into maybe as I'm saving my gift, maybe as a sports player? What are the patterns that are happening that will enable me to be able to continually monetize my purpose and to be able to make my purpose irreplaceable in the marketplace? Another one, get to understand how the cash is flowing around you saving your purpose. While you are doing whatever it is, while you are doing that research that you are doing, while you are preparing, understand how is the money going in and out of your purpose. While the money that you are making, understand what's taking the money out. After I've made the income that I've made, what takes it out? Am I taking out my money when I'm preparing or when I'm going to interviews? Whatever it is, find out what those areas are. And another one would be risk management. Manage the risk of you fulfilling your purpose. Sometimes you might find, like the example I gave you, while I was preparing and practicing, I got a crash. Now, when I got the crash, I wasn't able to even come to the studio. Now, this tells me that no, I need to be able to work on my risk assessment. What are some of the things that I could be able to take into account or protect myself out of sudden changes? Sometimes you might be fulfilling a particular purpose wherever it is that you are doing. There are certain things that you have no control over. Some things are acts of God. You might be running a business and maybe suddenly a work of nature happens. Now, when you've got insurance, it's able to protect you when those acts of nature happen. Now, find out what are some of the things that you could do to be able to protect yourself, to be able to protect the gift that you've got in terms of things that would be beyond your control. And while we are doing that, realize that no, after you've made the money, after you've checked what are the logistics, realize that no, you need to be able to know that it's not enough for you to be able to know where your money is going, but you also need to get to know that where am I investing my money in. Realize that no, when you are saving your particular purpose, when you've taken account, make sure that the money that you are making, whatever it is, whether some people would choose to invest their money first before they spend it. Now, whatever formula works for you, make sure that after you've used out your money that you've used up, after the expenses, make sure that you take your money and invest it. You can invest it in real estate. You can buy shares, you can buy commodities, you can even trade forex, you can buy index funds, you can invest in fixed incomes or whatever thing that will be generating you consistent amount of income. And the last one, you could also even learn cryptocurrency. We are now getting into an era where cryptocurrencies are the number one thing. People no longer want to carry cash. Now, also, don't just ignore that. As you are, whatever purpose you are saving, that you'll be saving wherever it is that you are saving, there will be a change in the marketplace. Maybe some people might say, no, we are no longer going to be paying you via check. We want to give you some cryptos. Now, learn what are those things. What can you do to be able to make people who will be hiring you to serve your purpose to be able to pay you effectively?
I think we're genuinely empowered. That charging question about spirituality, we're wrapping up now.
Yes.
But just not solely on spirituality, because I get people have to charge.
Yes.
What do you advise?
Whatever beliefs that you might have, realize that no, even as a spiritual, whatever spiritual you might be, whether you might be a pastor or a healer, there are some things that going to you be able to do whatever it is that you are doing. As a spiritual healer, maybe you might even need to go for training. And now, if you are going to say that no, I'm as a spiritual, maybe whether you are a pastor or whatever it is that you are doing in spirituality, if you are not going to charge for those services, then tomorrow when you are going to need to be able to improve your skill sets, maybe as a pastor you need to go for training, you won't be able to pay for that particular training that you need to go, because now whatever it is that you are doing, if you don't want to charge people directly to say that no, this is how much I charge. Now, what are some of the things that you could do to charge people indirectly? You could say that no, as a pastor, I'm not going to charge you for maybe as a pastor, but I will write books, spiritual books that will help you have a spiritual journey, that will help you have your journey with God. Now, I'll just write a book, and I'm not going to directly charge you to say that I'm going to charge you for preaching, but this is the book that I wrote, and I know these are the principles that have worked for me and my spiritual journey. Then I will charge you for that particular area. So find out if you don't want to directly charge for the things that you are charging. What are some of the extra things that you could be able to do that will help you generate income, so that tomorrow when you are needed to go for training, when you need to go and improve your skill sets, when you need to improve yourself, you'll be able to have the money to be able to improve yourself and to also feed yourself and your family.
All right. Our quote of the week.
The quote of the week is what we've been talking about. Remember, you cannot feed yourself with round of applauses. You cannot feed yourself with God bless yous, and you can't feed yourself with thank yous. So make sure that you monetize your purpose, and while you are monetizing your purpose, you will enjoy saving your purpose in love.
Your contact details, please.
My contact details, contact me on 071 639 7807 when you are booking me as a coach or a speaker, and on all of the social medias, contact me or search for me. Just search for Ebenezer Mamabolo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mamabolo. That is our time on Conversations tonight. Coming up next is Night Flight with Matumo Manaka. A big thank you goes to the show's content producer, Mami Morashwa, our technical producer, Emmanuel Quinda, and to you for always listening and interacting with us. I am Rebecca Phala. Enjoy the rest of your evening and stay safe.